Hi guys, welcome to my YouTube channel. Yeah, it's been a minute since I've posted a video on my YouTube channel. I think it's been like 5 months, 6 months since the last time I posted. Um, I just had to lock in for a bit, and I locked in, and I was able to grow as a person. I feel like even when I was doing the YouTube video stuff, I was that was me in the process of growing, and I just had to take a step back and really like live the moment. So, but something I want to talk about today, and something that like I realized, like sometimes you have these epiphanies, and most of the time we're just like, oh, and then we just let go. But I'm trying to get into the habit of like whenever I have these like profound epiphanies, and by profound I mean like to myself, like when I come to these epiphanies, I'm like, yo, damn. So I just wanna keep that moment by like posting. So today I wanna speak about the difference between perception and perspective. Now, these words basically they come from the same root word, surely, because they sound the same and they almost mean the same thing, but they're so different that you have to pay attention to the difference, and you have to know how to use both of these things. So let's go into the difference about these two words, or between these two words, or what I feel like. I didn't Google this. I'm not an English expert. I may be wrong, bro, but this is how I see it, and this is how it makes sense to me in my head. So like with perception, our perception of the world is how we see it. It's how we see what's in front of us. So I would say like everyone shares the same perception, because at the end of the day, this is a TV remote. At the end of the day, it's a TV remote, and I can drop it because it's a TV remote. Like, it's just a TV remote. This, on the other hand, is not a TV remote. This is a PS5 remote. It's different to this remote. This remote I can just drop and pick up again. This remote I can't really do that. So everyone, we kind of like share the same perception, but even in what I just said when I described the difference between the TV remote and the PS5 remote is perspective. So my perspective of the TV remote is that it's not that worthful. Like, it's not that of that much worth. Like, it's just a TV remote. At the end of the day, I can get another one for very cheap, so it doesn't really matter to me. But this, on the other hand, a PS5 remote, I know how valuable this is. So my perspective of it is like, it's so valuable, I can't just drop it because it might break, and then I might need to buy another PS5 remote, which is so expensive. So my perspective of the PS5 remote and my perspective of the TV remote influence how I treat them, influence my perception of these two things, right? So, but a kid, a baby, or someone who has no idea what this is and what this is, sees these two things as inherently the same thing. So to them, they can drop this one and they can drop this one. Their perspective of these two remotes like also influence their perception of them. Because their perspective is that, oh, these are just like things lying. I don't see the worth in the one over the other, so I can treat them the same. That's their perspective. But my perspective is, I know this PS5 remote is more expensive, and I know this TV remote is less expensive. So that influenced my perception. So what point am I actually trying to get at here now that we've established like the difference between these two things? What am I actually trying to say? What am I trying to? Because like, okay, these words are different. Now what? Guys, when we talk about perception and perspective, there's a lot of ways like that can be applied. Like, for now, I applied it between the person and the physical world. Perception, I described it between the TV remote, the PS5 remote, and the perspective. The same applies to other people. Our perception is the physical realm, the features, the physical appearance, how they look, how they sound, how they walk, how people carry themselves. That's our perception of them. But perspective is what actually matters, because the perspective that someone has of you influences their perception of you. I'm just letting that simmer for a bit, because someone's perspective that they have of you influences their perception of you. Yes, in actual fact, like you guys are watching the video and you're seeing me with a black Adidas t-shirt on, and all of like how I'm looking, like this chain and like my hair mess. That's the perception. That's the fact, the perception. But someone else might be watching this video, like let's say a family member might be watching this video, and they haven't seen me in like months or years, and their perspective is like, whoa, this guy has grown up so much. He's even doing videos on YouTube. A former loved one might look at me like, oh my, I hate this guy so much, and now he's doing videos on YouTube trying to pretend like, So the point I'm trying to get at here is that perspective matters. As much as perception is the actual real world and what we perceive to be, perspective, what happens in the mind, it matters. It matters. And not only does it matter when it comes to the person and the thing, or the person and the person, it matters also when it comes to the person and themselves. The person and themselves, and that is the most important place where it matters. Because your perception of yourself might be one thing, but your perspective of yourself, what you think of yourself, could be something else. And what you think of yourself could be influencing how you see yourself, how you act. So in a way, what you think in your mind is how you act. Because what you think is how you think you are. So because you think you are like this, you're going to act like that. Which is why it is so important, guys. It's so important to understand the difference between your perception and your perspective. And once you understand the fact that it all starts with the perspective that you have on yourself, it doesn't start with how you physically look. It doesn't start with your ugly face or your ugly hair, or your hair being a mess. That's not where it starts. It starts with your perspective of yourself. It starts in the mind. If I continue to see myself as this like whack ass person doesn't give a shit about life, I won't care about my appearance, because I don't care about life. But if my perspective of myself is that I am this high level, man of esteem, that like when I walk into a room, niggas know who it is. If I think that, I will perceive that of myself, and then in a way I will do it. I will live in like that. And that's why things like manifestation, things like prayer, like guys, this is how it this is how it works. This is how it works. Whatever you think is whatever you do, and is how you are. That's you. So everything starts with how you think. Everything starts with how you think.